See what the files I have that I used as the web app, the HTML page and the PHP page. So let's open a terminal. Good. So typically the files are stored in the var/www/html directory. So let's just cd into that, and let's see what the files we have here. Bunch of stuff, but we are concerned about this grad project which I used and created to enter the files needed. So let's move that. Now we see two files, index.html, action.php. Let's have a look at index.html. This is nothing but a simple HTML page where the page gives you the ability to enter a username and a password and then submit it. So this is the place where you enter the username. It's the ID is user ID, and this is the place to enter the password. The type is password, so when you type, the characters are not visible. And then you got a little submit button and a reset button. So let's just have a look at how it is shown. So running on localhost, grad project, and index.html. So this is it, nothing fancy. You can enter your username, you can enter your password, search or reset. Sorry. So let's just enter some credentials that's not stored in the database. Something, and search. It says invalid credentials. Please try again. So now let's actually try something that we have in the database. So I'll just open the database to show the username and password that we have saved. So these are the information that I have already stored. So let's try to use the iron987 and iron987 as username and the password, and let's see, iron987, and let's enter some garbage value just to check if it's working properly. Yeah, so let's try the iron987 and the proper password. Ta-da! So here you get a bunch of information about that particular user, the last name, the first name, ID, email, and the gender. So note here that we don't have the password. Although we have the password in the database, we are not actually viewing it here. So in the end of this lab, the purpose of creating this is to find this password somewhere around here by using a couple of SQL queries. So that's the ultimate goal of this. So that's done. We can put this aside, and yeah, so now we have seen what the index.html is. Now let's see what this action.php is. So yes, so here is the action.php. So it starts with these variables that are used to reach to the database. So we are running it as localhost, the username is root, the password is stored, which I changed previously, and the database we are using is the grad_proj_db. So then you are creating a connection using those variables, and then here is where like from the previous index.html, if the post method is identified, then we are setting the username and the password to two variables as the user ID and password using the post method. So these are the two variables that the user enters in that page, and then we are having this small SQL query which actually showed you the details about these details on the page. So it's nothing but select those column names from the table users where the user ID is similar to this user ID here, and the password is like this password. So we are checking both the conditions, and then only we are outputting the details. So now the next is it runs the query, and it prints it out, and then this num rows is nothing but the number of rows that are returned by this result. So with a successful uh, authentication, you get one row. So if that result returns more than 0, that is one row, then you print out all those information: the last name, the first name, the ID, email, and gender, just like that, and in that order particularly. So if it doesn't, if it returns 0 addresses, or 0 output, then you just say invalid credentials, please try again later, and you say no results, and then in the end you start this function. I just put it into a function so it's convenient and easy to look at. So that is everything on both the action.php and index.html. So now I'll just give a hint of what we are trying to do during the next video, that is to use the injection, the SQL injection. So I'll be using something like this. Okay, so I had to try a couple of times. So this is essentially the SQL code that we are using to actually view all the details here. So as you saw, there are only two entries here, and actually we are getting both the entries, but that shouldn't be the case. So that's what we are trying to explore during the next video.